What is going on, brothers and sisters? Eric Rosen here, your internal strength coach, here to show you how to overcome your greatest challenges so you can shine your brightest light. It is Friday, November 2nd, 2018. Happy Friday. And the message that I came to present with you guys today is about this relationship between the mind and gut function, how your gut functions. So, if any of you guys have been paying attention to anything health related, you've probably heard by now that there is a link between the brain and the gut. But what maybe gets overlooked is just not only that there is this link, but just how important it is. In fact, I would even argue that it really is the only link that really matters if you break it down. And I mean, that might challenge a lot of things in terms of like what we believe about like what's healthy for the gut and what's not, but I think hands down it's the most important thing. So this came up because today is like one of those days where even though I know things are going good and my subconsciously in my emotions I know things are going well, there's like this part of my mind that's kind of just like not in the like the greatest space today, where it starts to almost like create this reality. And this happens to all of us, I know it does, like where we kind of just we start seeing things through this gray lens, of things suck quite frankly. And what I noticed was that this feeling that I was having today, that I was also feeling like kind of some rumbling in my gut, and it actually took me back to how I used to feel pretty much consistently almost every day for a while when I would describe my health as like not being good. This was back when, I believed I was living in a moldy home and had to get out. And then even after that, this was back when it didn't seem like any diet that could work for me, or any supplement, any vitamin. It didn't matter that I was working out, maintaining this healthy lifestyle. Um, it consistently was there always. And it seems, that it's pretty obvious that the common denominator is this link between the mind and the gut. So, what happens? It's you have a thought, then after the thought comes an emotion, okay? And then after the emotion comes the gut reaction, okay? That's basically where the emotions are getting stored anyway, right? So, to me, it's like the very top of the funnel in terms of your gut function is what was the thought before the feeling that caused the gut reaction to something. So, a lot of people will, especially if their gut's really banged up, they'll seek like antibiotic treatment. They'll do like elimination diets and things like that. And a lot of times what happens is the elimination diet will work at first because someone believes that it's working. Okay, so the strong mindset is there, but the downside of that is you're not eating intuitively, which is important, which I'll talk about in future videos. And a lot of times when the person goes back to a normal diet and actually introduces regular food back in after this elimination diet, the same problems like return. They just come back. And I believe it's because that the mental state of things was never solved, that you were just basically toying with the physical side of things with food. And I would even argue that an elimination diet can even backfire because you're not eating intuitively and you're denying certain things that that your soul is actually craving, and you're not allowing yourself to have them because you're staying on this very strict diet. So what can you do? If we're talking about the mind, being at the top of the funnel in terms of your gut and just how important this is, I mean, simple things, it's about overall, it's trying to stay in this positive state, doing things like gratitude, having the positive emotions of laughter, of joy, of, releasing emotions that that you are carrying around, like being okay with crying. Like sometimes like people will, start crying like for no reason. Just cry like you're purging something. Like it doesn't matter. Like don't judge yourself and be like, oh, this little thing happened and I feel like such a dummy because I'm crying now. It's like, no, there's just something that wanted to come out right now. I think that's a lot of times why, people that are prone to getting emotional, like when they watch movies and that, a lot of times I think it's this channel, that's stirring up emotions, allowing you to purge those emotions. But anyways, um, really, really huge one, I think too, in terms of the mindset, is trusting that things are going to work themselves out. And the only way to consistently, foundationally, truly have this belief system is to have a belief system, which means a belief in a higher calling, some type of spiritual belief, some type of spiritual practice, whether you're a Christian, whether you just generally believe in God or you pray, there has to be some belief that things are going to work themselves out. Because what I've noticed is that the people that really continuously have gut function issues, is when they start giving their power away to all these external influences where they're like, it's because of the mold in the home, it's because I can't find the right diet, it's because of this stress, it's because of that. And they've literally just created this reality where they've labeled themselves like this sick person, and that the tools to fix it somewhere lie outside themselves. And what I don't see with these people that are the worst off is optimism. They don't hold a true belief that they can actually heal. They're not trusting in the actual process of life that they can get over whatever is ailing them that's causing these gut function issues. Okay. And if you're not familiar with like gut function issues, like it's everything. Like literally, like once things on the physical side of things, because mental, emotional is not a physical thing. The first physical place where things start going wrong in the body is the gut. That's where everything else happens. It's where you can start to lose your energy, where you can start to feel less hungry or not hungry, or just feel generally crummy because you have like, bloating issues, aches and pains in the body. And there's even a belief too that, like the inflammation that comes like in the gut and then spreads throughout the body, that it's actually inflammation comes from inflamed thinking. Okay, like it starts with the mind. It starts with, you having all these like negative thoughts and your perception of the world, and that's what's causing like the physical reaction. So another thing too, to help you with this, with essentially what we're talking about, which is, developing a stronger mind, so you can have a stronger gut, but also striving towards emotional mastery, because the thoughts are always going to happen. Like you can't just like turn your mind off, and it's not always possible, I think, to, you can't go around, just like shitting rainbows, like thinking that every thought that you have is just like, this perfect thought about the world. There's always going to be these thoughts that, go through whatever, filters you have about positivity, and emotions come out. But, it's knowing that your emotions are for your betterment, for your improvement, and not for your fall or your detriment. Like so many people think that when they get emotional, that it is a source of weakness, it's a sign of weakness. It's totally not. It's actually, meant to, develop a greater understanding about yourself. So I could go deeper into that, but I'm not going to do that today. So that's what I have for you guys. There's a ton of people that are struggling with gut function, and a lot of times I think this is where the cliche sayings comes from. It's all in your head. And say that to like a sick person, someone who, has some type of chronic condition or is just, unhappy with their health in general. That's a really easy, quick way to piss them off, is to say that. And it sounds insulting, but I think the origination of it is actually saying like, no, really, like it's in your head. Like that's where this problem started. So if you have any type of like physical like issue that's bothering you, especially if it's the gut, you really, really, really need to start with your thoughts. Start with your thoughts. Start with, what's going on mentally, and then also, learning to work with your emotions better too. Okay, so that's what I got for you guys today. You can find me on YouTube. You can find me on Facebook, Eric Rosen Coaches. I'm going to go here and take a look at the website that was just published. Not ready for public viewing yet, so sounds like still some finishing touches to make on it. But in the meantime, social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube for now. Emails ericrosencoaches@gmail.com if you're interested in free consult for coaching or for personal training. That's how you can reach me. All right, you guys have an awesome evening. Take care.